Cara SNAP Program Planner. I'm pleased to be speaking to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to present this proposal on adolescent female suicide. The problem itself is that suicide rates for adolescent girls ages 10 to 14 tripled between 2001 and 2016 and are correlated with factors relating to proper care for mental health issues, maltreatment, social behaviors, and ineffective responses from adults, such as ineffective referral systems, as well as a history of suicidality. So, what does this mean? In the context of public health, there is a disproportionate increase in female youth suicide rates compared to males, noted throughout all of the United States. They're using more violent means, and that leads to an increased rate of fatal attempts. Depression and a lack or limited of access to mental health care are a combination of the most common risk factors. Poverty and a family history of suicide contribute, as possible influences are early puberty and the effects of social media like cyberbullying. So, what helps and hinders the issue? We're going to view adolescent female suicide through the lens of a socio-ecological model. The socio-ecological model is a framework that recognizes multiple layers of influence on health behaviors. So, looking at the policy level, funding for mental health helps, whereas less restricted firearm laws hinder, because firearms then become more accessible. At the community level, access to mental health care is helpful. Local suicide attempts are a hindrance. At the organizational level, school-based prevention helps, and ineffective or no referral systems hinder. On the interpersonal level, social connectedness is important and helpful, whereas family violence and a history of suicidality make the problem bigger or more likely to occur. On the individual basis, what's helpful is coping skills, problem-solving skills, and one thing that hinders the individual are mental health diagnoses such as PTSD or bipolar disorder. So let's look at these proposed interventions. What I'm proposing is an integration of 3 programs addressing 3 levels of the socio-ecological model. This is a manageable and an effective plan targeting all 3 of those levels. CAST, Coping and Support Training, is a targeted skill-building program for youth in grades 7 to 12, where they are identified by professionals and they are delivered 12 55-minute small group counseling sessions by a trained facilitator, maybe a guidance counselor. The training is given by the developer themselves, and it's delivered on site. So those kids meet, work together with a facilitator for 12 weeks. Addressing the interpersonal level is Signs of Suicide. It's a curriculum delivered in schools for youth grades 8 through 12. It's 3 lessons. There's a student screening tool, and there's also a parent education component that also includes a screening tool. This is designed to educate students to increase their knowledge about the signs of suicide, what to look for if they themselves or others might be exhibiting those symptoms, those signs. At the organizational level, we're looking at Lifelines. It's a gatekeeper training program for staff in a school to teach those teachers or connectors, administrators, the warning signs of suicide. It also establishes an appropriate referral network for individuals in crisis. The training requires staff to participate in 1 45 to 60-minute presentation and up to 1.5 to 2 hours training with participant discussion. So let's take a look at the logic model. The The logic model demonstrates the project and informs us that if particular actions take place, we can expect certain results. So let's review. We need to access funding, advertise the opportunities, recruit participants at all levels, and form partnerships. We need to secure agreements with all levels of the above and to deliver the interventions. The interventions are delivered and SMART goals are met, including for CAS that 80% of those participants report newly learned skills at the program completion and that those skills are maintained at 6 and 12-month assessments. The Signs of Suicide or SOS program reports that 80% of participants will have increased knowledge immediately following and at a 6-month interval post-program regarding the signs of suicide. So that they know what to do for themselves and for others if they're exhibiting signs of suicide. For Lifelines, a referral network is set up within that school community. It's been established, it's being maintained, so that those in crises can receive the support that they need. All of this results in the establishment and maintenance of coping skills, increased knowledge among teams, an effective referral system, and ultimately a lower rate of adolescent female suicide. Essentially, a lower rate of suicide across the board because we're going to be addressing all youth in the school. So the proposed evaluations are program specific and they include process measures which will evaluate if the programs are delivered with efficacy and to completion, and they include assessing the role of attendees, attendance at programs, retention of attendees, session content reporting to the program manager, continuing education for facilitators, and continued retention for those targeted youth, and outcome measures. So those outcome measures are designed to determine if the program has been effective. They will assess short, medium, and long-term outcomes within each intervention. And examples include with CAS, pre- and post-tests and interviews to assess the needed skills, current suicidality, risk factors, and strengths, maintenance of those skills at both 6 and 12 months post-intervention. SOS will use pre- and post-tests as well to assess knowledge and retention of that knowledge about the signs of suicide. And the long-term assessment will be correlated with the number of suicides in the community, hoping to lower that number. Lifelines will also involve pre- and post-tests to assess knowledge of the signs of suicide and the appropriate actions or protocols, establishment and maintenance of a referral system in the network, and gatekeeper retention. We want to keep those same professionals in the network for our young people. So what are some of our potential challenges and needs? Well, funding, of course. We need funding for curriculum. We need funding for materials, tech support, program administration and oversight. We also need some technology like laptops and DVD players so that we can deliver the programming and training. We need buy-in. If we don't have buy-in, it's not going to be a success. We need the community. We need the school districts at that organizational level to buy in. We need administrators, faculty, and staff in those school-based crisis response teams. We need parents and students to be invested. And we also need a facility or space to run our programming, to run those parent education sessions and those student small group sessions and the classroom sessions. So in conclusion, it's clear that there's a great need to intervene on all levels of the socio-ecological model. This proposal is a step in the right direction aimed at addressing the individual, the interpersonal, and the organizational level to help decrease the rate of adolescent female suicide. If you have any questions or if you'd like to review any of the tables in this PowerPoint, please contact me at the email on the screen. of the resources that I used. Thank you so much today for your time.